you were concerned that Tobin doesn't have a fulcrum. And, well, you're right. The problem is he didn't have a grip. See, you were way ahead of where he was. Just to learn it. Remember, Dick Wilson had his red notebook of what he notated with regards to Murray's approach to teaching. With regards to tempos and speeds and the chronology of strokes. We can't get that red notebook. We're trying. It's out there, someone's got it, but because we could really do a lot with that book, and I think it's not being entirely put to use. So, but there is not just learning how to play, but remember, Buddy Rich probably couldn't have told you what he was doing. Really, he wasn't known as a teacher, or maybe I don't know that for a fact. But there are guys that are like virtuosos, like Mahesh Balasoria, killer pianist, and I know some incredible pianists that like want to take a lesson with him, and it's like, so yeah, we'll get together, and because he doesn't teach. There's certain people that understand it and can teach it, and so if you're teaching, it's also important to develop in terms of learning about the approach with regards to expressing this, communicating this knowledge to another person. So I want to take a look at the closed flam. It's page 8. It's the flam because we're starting to get into strokes. Okay. Okay. So what we're trying to do is just learn these motions. We're learning these motions. We're learning these motions, these motions, these motions, these motions. We're learning these motions. And so play a closed flam for me. And I'm going to ask you to play it with no tempo. Just play an alternating flams. Well, I don't always hear a flam. There's a flam. I heard a flam for a minute, but it's not consistent, right? Sometimes the flam is almost, the arpeggiatura is almost inaudible, or it's crammed so close to the main note that it becomes almost unison, which is not what we want. We actually want flams, right? So we have to first of all know how to make a motion in each hand. See, it shouldn't be a problem. It should be consistent. As we speed up, we don't change the motion. We just use the same motions, only more quickly. Okay? So let me hear a right flam. See, it's not a flam. That was a better downstroke. Do you know why? Well, because on your first downstroke, you led with your arm. Now it's gotten better. Show me what a downstroke looks like in the right.
Am I supposed to be that?
Now show me what an appoggiatura looks like in the left. Do you wouldn't mind stopping? Unless your floor is here, but you decide where the floor is. That's where it starts. It's just, you're having a little problem with that. Yes. See the butt end going down? See how yours is not as stable and solid as mine? Dick Wilson used to talk about the butt end going down, and then Richard Martinez, who doesn't. It didn't start off playing traditional grip, or actually I think he did, but he studied matched. He's so smart, he figured it out. He caught me, he said, this butt end's supposed to be moving, right? Okay, so see that'll prove that you're turning. The other way we can, rotating. The other thing is remember, we're looking for the movement of the radius over the ulna. You can actually see, remember the idea of Jack Verga said, draw a dot here on your forearm. Cher, are you with me? Draw a dot here on your forearm. And then Martinez said, oh, it's cool, you draw a dot down here. And then I decided to draw a dot in the middle to triangulate the thing, because we're nutty drum nerds. And you can see them, you can see the proof of a rotation. And see, I can see this here. I can see this here moving.
I have freckles there.
Oh, you lucky duck.
And that one right there.
And then well, if you're real serious, if you're real serious about drumming, you'd want to have the tattoo, you know, one here and one here. And then we want to see some kind of evidence of rotation in this area. I can see it moving. But down here, we're not up there. You're not at that volume yet. Well, you were having a problem playing an appoggiatura. No, stay left. Stay left. You just led with your arm. Because you weren't taking the time to get the left. But the patience. That clap is getting better. That's all it is. Turn even less just for fun. See when mine is what I'm going for is, if I start here, I end here. The gig is, it's not supposed to keep changing. It always stops here. Because I started here. It's coming back to where it started. Yours isn't doing that. Now it's better. Now if you did that with a proper downstroke, so we're leading with the wrist, then we're turning and allowing to fall as we come to the surface. Yeah, I want you to just open it up a little. There. It's not about slamming. It's about some old idea of how to make a flam. Years of whatever habits we built in. But really, Sherry, it's this in the left, and it's this in the right. You get that? It's not about slowing down to get the effect. Just rely on these motions. And the downstroke isn't. There's not even an accent. It's not even an accented quarter in the library. But what we're doing is we're getting a note that's a lot louder than an appoggiatura, but we're not working too hard for it. We're just making this motion. Watch. I'm not going. Ah! Ah! It's just this very fluid motion made by the it's not bad. Just try this. When you get to the top and you turn towards the ceiling, you're just letting the whole thing collapse. You don't have to work hard. You just have to make a motion. You don't have to turn up the ceiling and then turn towards the surface. You just have to make a kind of a fairly relaxed twist turn. It's the timing of the stroke. Just get to the top and wait for me. Okay, now nice and easy. I want you to just turn to the surface and let everything. It feels like the entire system's collapsing. Don't try to control it on the way down, but that's the idea. No, you turned more that time. You didn't do what you just did. And you look back. Yeah, right. I don't want you throwing the stick behind you. And you don't work for it. There you go. Better. Now all you have to do is do a little rotation in your left, and you'll have. Yeah, make it there. It just falls into each note. Each hand falls into a slot. Okay, now go the other way. Again, it's not an accent, not bad. I'm looking at your left right now. I'm making a downstroke, right? So we've got this, and then we've got that. See, it's not a big deal. It's nice and easy. It's nice and solid. I'm not going. I'm simply making a little wrist turn here, and I'm making a nice easy throw here. So, unison, okay? And okay, what we're doing right now is we're getting into the nitty-gritty, right? We're getting into the subtleties that aren't typically associated with development on this instrument. But things won't work at higher speeds if you don't have these details sorted out. And quite frankly, as you see, they don't work at slower speeds. I mean, we haven't even put the metronome on yet, right? How do you get the timing of things when, for instance, I think you're throwing, I'm totally exaggerating, but I think you're doing some of this. I'm not thinking that way. I have the stick sitting here in the crotch, the thumb and first finger, then the metacarpal bones, which Martinez got out his medical book. He said, holy shit. Then he said, watch Buddy Rich. And put on Buddy Rich, and he said, I can't believe I didn't notice this before. Look, he's not a death grip, but when you watch Buddy, go ahead and put some videos on. He's down here, right? And he's got the thumb and first finger, the metacarpal bones, firmly in place, right? That way you can relax the rest of the hand. You've got the stick. Stay with me. So I'm thinking that, right? I feel the stick resting on the fourth. The first finger is, as Dick Wilson would say, like a feather glued to the top. Now that always confused me, because they're just words. But I can tell you that once you feel it, those words will make sense. Essentially what I can tell you is, don't do anything. You're just simply going to wrap your fingers around the stick. Go ahead, wrap your fingers around the stick. Come on, I held here, you see, so I didn't have to countervail with my thumb. Right, that's all it is. It's not squeezing, you're not throwing it out. Now you can leave it alone. You'll notice you've left the whole thing alone just for a little tap. Remember, you're just coming back to where you started. It's a little rotation. You can leave everything alone. Definitely have a fulcrum. We're not utilizing it right now, but you know that there's a fulcrum in the crotch of the thumb, and the rest of the hand, what's it doing? Nothing. You don't have to throw your fingers open, which was my old habit. To get rebounds, I would throw my fingers open. Not in this technique. We can use fingers, but that's way down the line. We're just rotating. There. And then when we go up, we lead just like in the right. We lead with the wrist, and then we turn towards the ceiling and let the whole thing collapse. And it doesn't wobble. And watch. I don't feel. I might just feel a little bit of something in terms of natural, the torque of the stick moving the finger, but I'm not what I think. And when you watch this video back, I think it's so subtle, and yet if you do that, if you throw your fingers, it won't sound like that. See, that was better. How solid that was. And don't work too hard. You don't have to go at the top and really work. It's just this beautiful motion. It's a motion. It's as though, although Dick would say down is where we go. I'm not thinking of, just like when I turned my wrist, I'm not thinking that way. Okay? When I turn my wrist, so these subtle concepts in terms of how you're thinking about it will affect how you play, right? See, because I'm not thinking about going, oh no, it's this up and down thing. I bring it up and the whole thing in a sense kind of just collapses. I just rotate. See, it kind of goes up and down at the same speed. Now I'm just turning my wrist. You're not really staying with me. You're not staying with me. I was trying to see that's probably why you can't do this. Look. You can't do this because you don't understand your concept is, here, try this for fun. Come on up. Did your fingers go flying open?
No.
No. Now I know that we're not in real time. At some time, maybe if you're turning fast or high, rotating fast enough or high enough, maybe it will affect the fingers. I don't know. I'd have to do it and then I'll let you know. But I can tell you one thing, nothing changed. Except I rotated my wrist. Now, on the way down, I don't suddenly go, ah! No, I bring it up and I bring it down. It's this, watch. See? It's a motion, really. I'm not thinking, I'm going to make enough. I'm just rotating. There just happens to be a surface in the way. That's more of thinking. It's not this thing where you're going to force it. And so when I go to make a throw, it's not this thing when I go to force it. There. There. Dick would say, don't rush the down. No, I don't want to see this at the very end. It's just this beautiful, smooth motion. And everything comes back to where it's there. Now in the right. Now in the right. Now your left has lost something at where it started. No. Only going left, right. That was interesting. Now show me an arpeggiator in the right. That's easier for you than in the left. Or until we talked about the left. Maybe now the left is as easy to make an arpeggiator. It's easy for you to make an arpeggiator and the left is in the right. Right? But yeah, we're just making a little turn. And we're not thinking, because you do this in your down. This is what you were doing in your down. I'm exaggerating totally, right? But and that's probably what you do when you turn your wrist. But a wrist turn is just this, right? Okay. See, I'm just making a motion. And so it's easy for me to do that here. Okay. It's just a simple wrist turn. And it's just sitting in my hand. Primarily a 3-finger grip. Back fingers will have very little to do with it. Yeah, better. Now it's going to show me a little note. No, in the right. Nice motion, I just have to hear it a little bit. There you go. Now go ahead and put the left with that, and don't do this weird, you come up and then you slam it down thing. This is smooth. And don't throw your fingers over. It's a wrist turn. It's just it might be up here, right? You could now you could call the up. Here's where the left and the right might be similar, because to come up in the left, we're actually in traditional. We are turning. There's a bend in the wrist, you see, and then we come back down. And now the wrist rotates in the left when you alternate it, but we're not yet. Not yet. Stay with me. That was my fault. There. See how much easier that is? We were working pretty hard. Working so hard that the notes, you couldn't keep the notes apart. See, everything is, in a sense, doesn't it feel like everything is slowed down? A little more like, I remember hearing that as I was coming along. Yeah, when you get this technique, it kind of feels like everything's in slow motion. Maybe this is what whatever technique we're talking about. Okay? It's much more relaxed than you think. Now, let's see if we can play alternating clamps and maintain that in both directions. No, stop. This is the subtlety I'm talking about. You started off, I believe, and you started off with your right on the surface. I mean, what is that? That's like a pianist. I'm trying to give you some analogy to help you think about it. Because on drums, you can get away with anything, as long as you have played good time and know some of the current licks that other musicians have heard on records, so that they feel like they're listening to the same records as you. On a piano, if you start with a note down, you're making a note. What if you're playing like a synthesizer patch, like a synthesizer with a string patch? So if you, and you started going, and I go, what are you playing yet? We haven't counted the tune in. That's not where we start. We start here. We find the relaxation. And we start here. Go for it. Stop. Getting better. I'm going to call you out on another thing. Every time you go up in the right, you touch the surface. But we're not making enough stroke. When you watch the video back, you'll notice you go like this. You don't make a sound. It just dips down, barely touches it. Why? It stays here. It stays here. It stays here. It stays here. That's where it stays. Do it again. See, let the step down. It's different, isn't it? That little thing changes everything in a sense. Everything will have to adjust to that. Remember? No, dip down. So you're not following what Richard Martinez calls the fixed point in the universe. Dick Wilson would say, when you go up, you leave the beat down, right? Or you could call it a fixed point in the universe, but you're not. You're letting this dip, almost touch the surface. Okay, so try it again. See if you can comment your mind or manage your mind so that it can maintain all of those pieces that we've talked about. Open them up. You slammed in the left. No. Stick goes up nice and easy and then goes wing in the left. There. See, now you have the ability to manage or control the space in between the two. So it's getting better. Go ahead and put the metronome on it. Let's put it on at 40. I want to turn that down a little, Jerry. It's going to be louder than you're on the pad. Cool.
I'm getting feedbacks.
It's fine at this end. No, I can't hear the metronome. Turn it down a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Put it under the cat. You don't hear it.
It's getting feedback, like I hear it back, so it throws the timing out.
Well, if you need to turn it down even more, that's okay.
Okay, it's good now.
Good. Okay, so we're going to play alternating flams, quarter notes. Ah! Whip the stick right. No, right. Now you didn't know. You lost the smoothness. It's just your wrist swing. You're trying, Sherry. You're trying to create the whip. A lot of guys try to create the whip by doing what is kind of like a roller thing, I think. They're trying to create the whip. The whipping motion comes from, it's just a long piece of leather, usually a particular length. Go with me. It's just a long piece of leather. In fact, apparently it has to be a certain length to really whips. There's probably some kind of mathematical equation. Okay? The guys can like whip out the flame of a candle, right? And so the leather strap doesn't have a mind of its own. You know, it can't go. The leather strap can't go real fast at the end because it wants to. It's as if once you set it into motion, it's going to snap when it's supposed to snap. When that wave of energy ripples through all the way to the end of that leather strap, the whip, and creates an effect. It doesn't try to whip. You just set it into motion, and it will whip if you just the motion. Yeah, you try to make it whip. That's the exact opposite of what we're trying to do. Don't let the right dip. Nice indeed. There, you lightened up your pipe just a little to match the left. Okay. Quarter note triplet. Then we're going to go here. Then we're going to go to Clayton. Then we're going to make no triplets. And we'll go to 16s. Then we'll go to and then we'll retrograde back. That's going to be the chart. Start again at quarter notes. And go to quarter note splits. One and up, two and up. Quarter note clip for every 3 notes. And up, two and up. Why don't you count a minute? Solidify. Go ahead.
1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and
okay. See, hang on for a second. You know, talking doesn't seem to be playing, so it doesn't seem to be as exhilarating, perhaps. And yet, my talking has gotten you here. You sound a lot better. Okay? If everything's nice and relaxed. You can use this to play really loud. You can go to a rock gig and use this. And you'll also be able to go to play a jazz gig if you just learn to turn your wrists and relax and learn that these motions aren't quite what you thought they were. Soon as you started to talk or count, it went from that nice, gentle, easy motion to 1 and you're right back to instead of that easy, gentle motion. So you've got to keep the same, it's the same motion, only a little faster. And by incorporating your counting doesn't mean that the attack would change or that the motion would change. The only thing that's changed is from going to quarter notes to quarter note triplets is how you're counting them and that you're using those motions and playing them faster. So go ahead and try again. Count quarter notes. Start with quarter notes.
1 one and two and one and two and.
No, I want quarter notes. So it's going to be 1 and 2, or 1, 2. You can count the ends using ends.
1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1, 2 and 1.
Times easy. Easy.
1.
There.
1 and 1
And
1
and
1
too loud.
2
Not to count too loud.
1
Just same. Now go
and
quarter note triplet.
1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1.
Slam. You start to slam. Your motion change. When you watch this back, you see that you went from that smooth motion to, so not just the counting. That's what I wanted you to count the first part. It's not just the counting. It seems to be that, but because you had to speed up. So that's why this chart might help you. In fact, I know it will. So I want you to go back to quarter notes and maintain the motion only a little more quickly.
1 and 2 and 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 1. 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. 2 and 1 and 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1.
Notes. Go to notes. Notes.
1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. 1 and 2.
Don't slam.
1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 1 and 2 and 1. I'm just guessing what you're saying.
I'm playing along with you. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Stay nice and relaxed. No big deal. Go ahead.
1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 2 and 1 and 1.
16. Now we'll start. What started to happen when you went to, you increased the tempo to eighth note triplets was you started to change the motion. Not that you were slamming, but you weren't turning as high. The whole motion became lower. I don't want it to. I want the same motions, only faster. And then when we went to 16th notes, and it corrected itself, you brought it back up, so I let it go. You went to 16th notes, came right back down. That's not what we're doing here. Try again as eighth triplets.
1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 2 and 1 and 2 1 and 2 and 1
Hi. Look, you lost your tendon. You lost your pronation, right? You lost the up. This pronation in the right. Good. You don't want to lose. The motion has the same proportion. Okay, now go. Now we're going to 16th notes. Same right up.
I can't really hear you.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we in other words, you're supposed to be able to maintain that motion. So at 16th notes, it was kind of over. So that means that you have to spend some time with this on your own, but be honest with yourself. Or you'll just come back going from what is a nice, relaxed motion in both hands, and then you go to speed it up, and it becomes. This is your stay with. This is what you're doing right as it's going fast. You would just take a tiny bit and then throw the stick up, right? And you lost this. It doesn't change. You want to keep the same motion, the integrity of the motion, which means that you have to have this part of the motion every time, and you have to have this part of the motion every time. Okay? So it got a lot better. Now this is on you to figure out, how can I not slam when I go faster? How can I not slam as playing quarter notes? But you're not. It got a lot better. It'd be fun for you to watch this video back, and I think the difference is obvious. But now you're going to have to figure out how to get to groups of fives, if you can, honestly, and maintain that motion. That means you just have to, you have to have this side, and then you have to have this side. Yeah, but you also have to have the other side. We're just in the right now. In the right, if you just put your hand on your leg, right? And it goes like this. And yeah, see, my fingers are, I'm just kind of hanging out. I go up and they're just, almost the fingernails are on my leg. My fingernails are on my leg. See? My fingernails are touching my leg now. And when I go up, my hand just sort of flops open. I'm not holding the stick. See how they're open? My fingers are kind of open. Better. Goes like that, and then it goes like that. And the hand closed. No, you didn't turn your wrist. No, we're not doing that thing where we're not making a throw. That's not making a throw, which is cool. But we're actually getting to here. Get to here. And then we have to get to here. Come on, turn your wrist up. And then you have to get to there. 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 And the left. We get to here. We get to here. My finger, my baby fingernail and my ring fingernail is kind of resting on my, see how open my thumb is? Whatever you're doing. Yeah, if you're just like this, totally natural, Just on your side, right? You just got your traditional grip on your leg. My fingers are more open than yours. Why are you like squeezing? There, my hand is, watch, just hold your hand open and just let it close. If it just wants to, yeah, don't squeeze, just leave it here normal. Put it up right there, like that. Then I'm going to go up and my baby finger and ring fingernail are on. And if anything, my thumb is just natural, it's kind of hanging there, right? And then I turn up to the ceiling and let everything collapse, like that. So you don't feel much, do you? There's not much to feel. It feels like when with no stick in your hand, like right now, it just feels like as you're making this motion, everything's collapsing. But you have to turn up as everything falls. Try it again. Yeah. See, that's like flicking water off your fingernails. Do it again. See, you're flicking water off your fingernails. Was it Adler or one of the cats? Gladstone would put a glass of water on the pad and he'd have you dip your hands in the water to prove this. Okay? All right, much better. Now, let's just take a quick look at doubles 5/2. Okay? The metronome on 40. Okay, so how are you going to count that? Counting at this point, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just sort of felt my way through more than I actually know where everything goes.
And 4 and 5. 1 and 2 and 4 and 5. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and. By counting it that way.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 5. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1. Would you have? Yeah.
So it's
5 ends.
And 2 and 3 and, right? The right hand starts, so the end of 3 will end in the right. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and. Now 1 is in the left. 1 and 2 and 3 and the end of 3 is in the left. So you're always playing the second note of one of the doubles on the click, which strengthens your evenness with doubles, because when you're hearing a click, 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 what happens is you start to bang on the click, just like counting affected the way you played. Hearing a click can promote, shouldn't if you know what you're doing, but it can promote the emphasis to be on the first note of the doubles. Now what we're doing is we're hearing 1 and 2 and 3 and. So suddenly the second note of the double becomes more. There is, we're paying proper deference to the second note of the double. Okay, so go ahead and try that again. And I don't want you playing real hard. I'm trying to get you away. I'm trying to get you away, Sherry, from doing this, I just want this. I just want you to lift it up and let it come back down. It's kind of what we just worked on, really. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and
1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and.
That's it.
And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1. I'm a little slow. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and I just kind of fell off of it.
Not bad. But turns have to be easy. And what you're doing. Just a little turn. I don't want you coming up that way. I just want you to know how to not slam. Come up to here.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 1.
Lost it. You lost it. The one is always the first part of the song. I'm trying not to, Sherry. Don't play over me because I'm going to end up with laryngitis. You know, I have to go and introduce the band tonight. I'm yelling over the audience with no microphone to spare me the tension on the vocal cords, and it'll move you playing along more quickly too. But yeah, what we realize is it goes 1 and 2 and 3 and. So the 1 will always land on the first note of the double. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, and both turns and both rotations are the same. Same height in both hands too. Go for it again. Good. Good. No, it's okay, but I mean, in the left you go. You're not playing too. See, watch. Here, turn off your metronome again. Maybe it's too fast. You know, maybe we should find something else. Maybe I can just work on doubles with you at a slower tempo, or maybe you can get this at this speed, right? Because it's not that fast. But really, remember, we're just doing this. See, it's just two of these. It's just da 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 da. It doesn't go da 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 da. It's just two of these. That's all it is, over and over, just two of them. Okay, try it. Just go ahead and play tap tap the speed of the doubles. Tap tap about that speed. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 2. It's da 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 da. It's the speed 1 and 2 and 4 and 5. Okay. You're not following me. I want you to play consecutive singles. Yeah, put that on. Oh, put that on. Count out loud. Count out loud. Count out loud.
All left. 1, and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4.
Now play it. We weren't playing that high. Remember, we're only coming up a little bit. Because it's hard for you to do. So I'm asking you to do it. So that it won't be hard anymore. 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and. Go ahead.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and.
It's just 2 of those. Just do 2 of those. 2 of those.
1.
There. That's all it is. Don't make the second one higher. Same height, both turns. There you go. Go ahead and try it again, but with the other hand now. And that's where the left hand, that's what that left hand feels like. A lot more like.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and.
Better.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and.
Your tendency got better. Your tendency, whether you know it or not, is you're doing this. You're doing this, Sherry. 1 and.
Yeah, I caught it.
Good, because it's, and then to overcome it, what you did is you're turning higher, because this is kind of your comfort zone. Because I think you like to slam on the way down, and I don't want you to. I just want you to create a fan. We're just creating a fan. I can feel the wind. Now I only feel the wind on the way down. I want to feel the wind. I just made that up, but it's true. You can actually feel it. I want an efficient fan, so that we're, see, motions on the way up and down. See, it's a little bit different, but you see that both directions of the stick have a similar momentum, and you can feel that you feel the torque out to the tip of the stick, creating a little bit of breeze against my hand. Go ahead and try it. No. I want you to be doing it here. No, little. Remember, you just want, we're just here. I'm not moving as fast as you. Look, see how smooth it is? It goes up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down. Go say up, down, up, down.
Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up.
Oh.
Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down.
There you go. Better. That's what it is. Okay? And in the right.
Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down.
You're right by your hand. See, I'm traveling the distance of my hand. Just traveling the distance of my hand. I go right to here, and then I go to here. Nice and smooth. You're not going right to the bottom of your hand every time. Why? You're going to the middle of your hand. Now you went too high. Now you're going above your hand. I want it to go from the bottom of your hand to the top of your hand smoothly. You're going up to your thumb, just to the top of your, look at it. Take a look at your hand. There you go. There you go. Now relax your hand. Baby finger and fourth, I hope they're not squeezing. They don't need to be. There you go. It's 2 of those. Tap, 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 tap. Those are doubles. Tap, tap. Just play 2 of them. Tap and wait. Tap, 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 tap. 2. Tap, tap.
We're back.
You just keep tap, 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 and then the left hand goes tap, tap, tap. Do it in the left, tap, tap, tap. Top of the hand to the bottom. Okay, now put the now don't put the metronome on, just at about that speed, just see if you can go tap, 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 tap. On to the left, it just goes to the top of your hand, and it doesn't come down too fast, you won't be able to stop it at your bottom of your hand. Ah, hear it? Plop, plop. All right. Okay. All right. So I'm going to leave you there. I mean, ultimately, what happens is we're playing. The idea is to get into. So what speed would it be? One, two, three, four, five. 1 and 2, 3, and 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. And you're going to clock into this tempo. You're going to go. You play roll strokes. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 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 5. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. You see? We're capturing the time. But until you can get this, it's not even worth going into roll strokes right now. You just need to spend some time. We were at 40, right? And you're on the wrist. So we're just going to work at 40, maybe up to 52. Okay? 40 to 52. And just nice and easy. And if you want to fool around with incorporating roll strokes, we've done that before. But really, this lesson, again, you don't want to jump ahead. If you feel as though, and you see in your mirror, and you look down and you see everything working properly, and you feel as though you can feel the time in duple, and then go into roll strokes, well, go ahead and have some fun with that. But really, this lesson was about learning how to not slam down. It was about learning to just make the motions. And you discovered that playing is a lot easier than you think. It really is. It's the idea of, thank you, Richard Martinez, you're doing nothing. It just feels like, oh, what am I? I'm just doing this and this. What is this? It's got to be more to it than that. It's not. Okay? Learn those motions and breathe into your instrument. You know, what is that saying? Someone who only carries a hammer, always sees nails. Okay? Don't hurt the pad. Be kind to the surface, okay? Breathe into your instrument. And good job.
Yeah.
You're welcome.